Oh, it's atmospheric.
Is that a flute? Piccolo. Might be a piccolo.
A recorder.
Oh.
Remember the recorder was like a flute, right? All I know is I had a kazoo when I was growing up.
Those are cool. Kazoos are cool.
Why don't we get this out of the way quickly? What episode is this?
44.
I'm speechless.
It's amazing.
I didn't think we'd ever get here.
Another milestone. And here we are for the first time ever attempting to not only record a podcast, but also provide you with some visual stimulation and perhaps put this up on YouTube so that our listeners can now be watchers of us sitting in chairs talking about nothing.
Two guys sitting in chairs discussing nothing except what they scribbled on a piece of paper 45 seconds ago.
Moments before they hit record.
That's a lot like the Seinfeld thing, right? Except we're not comics, we're not famous.
Right. We've never wanted to say, we're the Seinfeld of podcasting, but I think it's clear, where we stand within the industry.
Are we in an industry?
I don't know. Is podcasting an industry?
It is now.
It is. You're welcome.
All right, let's jump right into it. You had how about this? We should preface this, right? So if you're joining this for the first time and you never actually heard the podcast, because this is going on YouTube. So we'd like to do a little catch up for a few minutes.
Sometimes the entire show is a catch up.
Right. So what's going on in our personal lives, marital lives, parental lives, what have you.
Whatever's going on with our current situation.
Correct. We'd like to cover that first, get that out of the way. Now, like Jim said earlier, sometimes that takes the entire episode. So, all right, go ahead. You want to tell us about skiing? I know you're chomping at the bit.
I don't want to tell you about it. It's what we have to discuss because
tell the audience about skiing.
So I'm going skiing tomorrow. Very excited.
I love that.
It's a guy's day. I yearn for guys' days. This one is going to be with the kid, so I'm very excited.
Yearn.
All
right, didn't catch an extra I in there. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay. And so I'm pretty pumped. It's just going to be him and I. We're just going to do a day trip. We usually try to turn these into like a 2-day thing where we'll go up, stay overnight, and then, come home the next day after kind of lounging around New Hampshire and just going to some New Hampshire places. But tomorrow is just going to be up in the morning, onto the mountain, ski for the day, and then buzz home. But it should be kind of cool because they got some stuff going on. We're going to Bretton Woods. It's like the beach party day or something because they're wrapping up the season in the next couple weeks. So I think they're going to do that thing where I've never seen it except like on videos where they ski down and then like somewhere towards the bottom of the slope, there's like a big, I don't know, friggin' pond or some shit where they ski over it. And they're in like their bathing suits and stuff, and the objective is to like get like through the water and onto the other side.
Are you going to be wearing
like
a bathing
pit
suit
or something? No.
You're not.
I'm not going to participate. We may go hang out in that area, maybe get a couple Coronas or something. Not for him because he's way underage, but just a couple for me just to help.
Maybe no duels. Just get him the taste early.
Oh, for him?
Yeah, it's a develop. Yeah, not for, yeah, not for you.
Okay. I am on these shandies, though.
Throw that up for the camera so people can see. Is it? It's hiding your face. For people just joining us.
Nobody's just joining us.
It's going to happen. Somebody will stumble upon this video for the first time and go, "What is this shit?" You had a bout with shandy. So what was
2016, the summer of shandy.
But you had nothing but constant heartburn.
Yeah,
it's as if you decided to forget that.
Yeah,
and just start over.
Well, these are limited edition, so.
They somehow mitigate the heartburn? Is there Pepto-Bismol
Nope,
flavor?
I can almost feel it starting now, and I've only had a couple. But they're delicious, little blackberry. It's a very big it's a big puss drink, to be honest with you. But it's summertime, right? It'd be great if we were having a barbecue right now and it was hot. Although I am kind of hot because you got all these lights on me. I'm not used to that. That's kind of weird.
Yes. I like making you sweat. Well, I appreciate the ski update. That's
check that off the list. There you go.
Let's go ahead. We're done with that. So My day this morning was a 3-hour doctor's appointment. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but it had to do with the wife, myself, our genitals, and something that we're trying to create. It was, I don't know if you've ever been in a doctor's office where the way so it's a fertility clinic, right? And it's a great place. It's a wondrous
Magical
place.
land.
So right from Jump Street, I was pissed because if you ever went into this building, it's clearly like this multi-million-dollar facility, and they have a gym on the first floor with a cafe. When I say cafe, it's a small sort of, it's a cafe, it's a restaurant type thing. It has a bar.
When I say cafe,
it's a gym. But when I say gym, this is the type of place you go when you're pulling down $500,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like when you're walking into this building, you're thinking to yourself, every business that's in it, doctor's office, in this case, fertility doctor, clearly they're making some cash. So
there's other things in this building. Is that what you're saying to me? Okay, I'm confused because you're going to this building. Right. I know you're not bringing down $500,000 a year.
Not yet.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, we got a few bucks coming from the show, but not we're not quite there yet.
Okay, all right.
So there's a multi-tiered sort of elevator system because they don't want people who are going to the gym to like run into the people who are using the doctor's office or using the dentist or using the whatever. So you have to like get on one elevator from the parking garage, which is underground, go up to a certain floor to walk across that floor, get into the... So right off the bat, we're late for the appointment. I don't like being late for anything, okay? We're late for the appointment. We get in. The wife had to get a sandwich and a coffee. That somehow took 20 minutes, and we were the only
coffee before a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, because I love my wife. I feel like when a man says that, you say that, and then you go ahead and say bad things. Yeah,
you're not supposed. But
here's what I don't love. I don't like when I'm going to give you two examples. One my wife does. One I used to notice when I was 15 years ago. I used to hate going out with broads that would they would drink, and guys too. You drink and you get completely annihilated, and then you have to babysit them. And it's a regular occurrence. It happens on a regular basis. And you always get the same excuse. I didn't eat anything today. Like, I'm sorry. You knew you were going to get, lit tonight. Okay. You knew you were going to go out and have a ton of beers, ton of drinks, whatever. Why were you not eating? Why were you not planning?
You're still talking about your wife?
No. I'm talking about, this is just earlier.
You're not talking about me.
One thing she does is she'll do a similar thing, but it has nothing to do with alcohol. Oh. So we have a doctor's appointment, right? And one of the things that she decided to not do today is think about eating breakfast. So what happens? On the way there, it's like, well, you got to stop there. Pull over. There's junkies there. It's like, no, I'm in a 3-lane highway. There's 50 cars behind me. I'm not going to just, jerk the wheel and pull over. No. So that's why we went to the cafe. Made sense. We were a couple minutes early, which turned into 25 minutes late. Long story, somewhat shorter. We meet with the doctor. Then we have to meet with a nurse. Then we have to meet with a financial person. Then we have to meet with a phlebotomist. Then they put us back in a waiting room. And because of our job, I'm sitting there going, I recall everything they said that we had to do.
I was itching my nose.
Oh, okay.
I'm shifting in this chair.
It was just kind of...
It's not the most comfortable chair you've provided me.
It's a chair. So
your chair looks comfortable.
My chair is loud and creaky. And there's little bits that you're taking out of the foam.
I haven't done that.
So we're sitting there, and I can tell that they're done with us, but no one has yet come in and sort of like dismissed us. But in my head, I'm going, well, we met with the doctor. She's coming back in 5 days. We got the blood work. We got the results. We met with the financial person. We're done.
So they're just leaving you sitting there?
Yeah, which is rare for them when we don't have anything else to do. But my wife and I got into like a little tiff because she's like, well, then go say something. She gives me that challenge, right? We'll get up and go ask them.
Fair.
See, I'd rather
it's a fair challenge.
It is. It is very fair. But I'd rather sit there and fucking stew. And I'm sitting there counting the minutes, and I'm getting pissed. Hour goes by. Someone overhears, oh, yeah, Jason and Tasha, they're done. And you should have seen my face. Well, actually, they can see my face now. I go, Like it's this controlled but very upset exhale. Okay, and
You
we leave.
directly to the receptionist who
We
finally
just leave.
Oh, you just
I
left.
grab the foot.
Now this is in Boston, right? So part of the reason
Brookline, I believe it is technically, but very close to Boston.
Right. So part of the reason that you're a little antsy, not only has it been a long morning, but you want to try to beat the traffic. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
9 a.m. appointment. We got out of there at noon.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, these things take time.
My wisdom teeth got removed in 12 minutes. Okay. You kidding me?
You're not trying to pull teeth. You're trying to create life.
Yeah, I guess. I guess this is preparing me for a long life of parenthood where it's just a constant grind. So that was my day.
Well,
And
that's
then,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
I was kind of a douche.
Did you do any lunch or anything in the city or not? I mean, I know you had a little snack.
Right home.
Right home.
Directly home. Because right around 2 o'clock, the traffic starts kicking up in that area.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big mall there and stuff. So I don't want to deal with that. So we just get in the car. We head home.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, I was in a medical type facility today as well. I mean, you want to just keep going with the day and what we did. I went to visit.
Let's not get too specific, but.
Okay. Well, I went to my grandmother's nursing home today with the boy, and we had a little Easter egg hunt. He's a little old for that kind of thing, but it's nice because, we go and we visit Nana and hang out for a little while, had some sweet treats, and saw some of my cousins and their kids and stuff. So that was cool. It's always a little awkward in there because everybody just...
You have cousins?
Sure.
I feel like you never talk about them.
We don't do much together as a group. I mean, sometimes at a, cookout or something, but yeah, I mean, what are you looking for? It doesn't matter. Well, we can get to that in the next episode.
Yeah, that'll be episode 45. Jim's cousins and why he hates them. Maybe we can have one of them on.
That'd be fun. I wanted to have one of them on a while ago, but we ended up not doing it. But anyway, yeah, so a lot of the men and women in the facility, they're very old. My grandmother's 94.
Generally, people in nursing
amazing.
homes aren't young.
Right. But these
or healthy.
These some of them are, a little bit senile and whatnot.
Sassy?
I imagine. Not on a day like today. Today's a fun, festive day. They always love it when kids come. They always they're always looking at the kids.
Pinching cheeks and slapping asses and stuff.
But I had one lady who was all very excited that I walked past her. And was clapping her hands.
Oh.
And yeah. So
The wolf whistle.
I was called a pretty boy. Oh. You're a pretty boy, she said.
I like
thought that was nice. And then there was another.
Make you feel good. You still got it.
I mean, here I am at 40. You know what I mean? Easily could have picked up, that 80-year-old woman if I really wanted to.
You'd have to put her down gently.
I'd just wheel her around and stuff. But so that was a good day. That was a good day.
You're giving a lot of thought to this.
Thinking about game.
Okay.
Did you like that transition? Thinking about.
It's not time for that yet. It's not time for
We're
that.
not caught up.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. I have some thoughts that I've been chomping at the bit to get out about specifically men and their quote unquote
How much
game.
I like them.
Yes. What?
That's what you're driving at.
Nope. Wasn't driving there. Well, that sounds lovely. Super depressing. I'm really glad you shared that with us.
Oh, that's nice. Had a lovely day with my grandmother, and you find it depressing.
I just don't like places where a lot of old people congregate and they're
like the mall.
right. Well, like when they first open the mall and they do the walking, like a lot of the old people do the power walking. That's fine, but nursing homes, they just have a smell. They have a vibe.
They'd be better off buying all those old people treadmills because you can do that on a treadmill. You can walk on it. You can run on it. You can walk briskly on it. You can walk up and down on it.
so many activities you can do on a treadmill. Quickly, if I know you think that nobody will, and there's probably a legitimate chance of that, but we should start doing our calls to action a little more frequently, which we haven't done in probably about
we haven't done a call to action in a while.
Episodes. But we will post a link to this podcast so you can go back, and some of what we're talking about may make sense to you if you decide to go back and dig through the archives. It probably won't. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
I've always wanted to say this. Link in the description. That's what the cool people on the YouTube say. So we'll cover a couple things in the news. It's going to be a very quick episode. I want to talk about who bit Beyonce. I don't really care who bit Beyonce. I'm puzzled by a few things. Why it's a thing, right? I don't know if you've been hearing about it.
Why biting is a thing, or why the specific thing?
It just seems like super random. Like Beyonce was bit.
I didn't read the article. We saw it. We laughed about it.
It was on Colbert, so like the night show, the late shows are talking about it.
Where did it happen?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay.
This is the thing. We don't prepare for this show. I chose not to read about it because I truly don't care. I don't wish any harm upon Beyonce, but I don't care that she was bitten. I don't want to be bitten. That's what I care about. I don't want my wife to be bitten unless it's by me. And I would, I'm cool if you're not bitten, especially by a rabid animal of any kind.
I appreciate that.
But we were talking about who we would bite if we had a choice, right? If it came down to it, and where. Or we could flip it the other way. If you had to get bitten, where would it be? And by who? You go first.
Of course I go first. Okay. So there's a couple reasons why you'd bite somebody, right? Out of
self-defense,
out of anger, maybe out of pleasure. I don't.
Sexy time,
right?
Oh, okay. So, flirting.
I might bite. I might bite Jessica Alba for fun.
Oh, like a
playful little nibble bite.
Would you use teeth?
Num 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 num.
But do that again in slow mo for the audience, please.
Num num num.
No,
I'm just looking at the camera going num num. One person who I think would be, out of anger, and I don't know if he's on your list, but I might bite Kirk Minahan.
Oh, the local Boston sports talk radio douche,
like right in the jugular,
like a vampire. But then he would live forever. And I don't want that. There's no reality that I want a gentleman like Kirk Minahan to live forever, especially that means he's on the air forever, and I can't have that.
Right. I don't know. I was trying to think of, who I might, bite out of fun, and who I might bite, like bite. Like, what do you got?
I think I'd take... Now, do I have to give you one playful and one...
No, it's just, I didn't know, you made me go first. It was kind of off the cuff. Again, we didn't plan for it. I'm just kind of saying stuff.
You actually demanded to go first. You know what? I think she's kind of in right now. And so I like to... Okay, I'm going to give you two choices.
Don't preface this.
I'm prefacing like a madman, okay? So for a playful bite... I'm going to call it a nibble because biting to me seems violent and creepy and kind of weird.
Right,
I don't want to cause physical harm to somebody.
No.
I've always had a thing when I started having things for people. I'm generally not the type of person that has a thing for a celebrity.
You've got a number of things though.
A lot of things. There's a lot of. That's right. I just came straight from therapy to this show. I mean, there's a lot of things. Kate Beckinsale is always somebody that I wanted to have like a friendly sort of wrestling match that ended up in no clothes on type thing. But you know what? It wasn't even like that. Like I was just like, oh, I'd like to date her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like a next level.
Go out to like a nice meal.
Yeah.
Have a conversation.
Right. And just imagine what the second date would be like.
Right.
Well, we're texting each other and I'm like,
we're biting now.
Yeah. So I'd throw her on there. But I do like, now here's what's interesting. I just watched that movie, I, Tonya. Have you seen it? With Margot Robbie?
No.
I find, well, you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Okay. I find her to be an interesting conversation with the wife the other night about this. I find myself to not have a particular type, except I think I do, and I'm always fighting it. So she says that I'm...
You regulate every shade of ass. Is that what you're saying?
No comment. So shade. I generally fancy myself as somebody that doesn't have a type. Blonde, brunette, sassy senorita, redhead is generally a thing I'm not into. Okay, so
full disclosure.
Yeah, disclosure. Full disclosure, if you're listening and or watching out there and you find yourself of the redhead variety and I'm suddenly single, don't bother.
Fear not.
Okay,
I am
lose my
not
number.
interested.
Yeah, right. You got the freckles and the tan, and the pale skin. I don't need any of that. I'm pale enough as it is. You guys can see that now. So
Bold.
it's not bold. It's just who I am.
Okay.
You got to own it now. I'm pushing.
Own
I'm
it.
knocking
It's
on
who you
40.
are.
So, but I feel like blondes and brunettes I've liked interchangeably. But the wife is like, no, you like something a little more sassy. Now, I'm like, well, okay.
I'll tell you what you like.
But Margot Robbie is kind of like maybe is sort of a younger, fresher version, right? I don't want to say anything that could be construed as disparaging of Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale is like my OG sort of like Hollywood crush.
Okay.
But they both have something in common. It's the accent, right? Beautiful women.
Yep.
But when they speak and they're not in role, they're not on camera, one's English or British, the other one's got the Aussie accent. It's hot. You know, I got no problem saying it.
It's something.
So maybe a little nibble there.
Okay.
It might not be a bad idea.
Num, num, num.
You know, maybe I throw the stinger.
What?
I'm just thinking in terms of insects. I'm not trying to make it weird.
Oh, all right. That's cool. Anybody you'd bite.
Bugs are cool.
Anybody you'd bite like out of aggression. I mean, you know, on the other side of the coin. Like you're in a nasty fight and you're like, I'm just going to bite.
I got to be
hard.
honest with you. Let's go ahead and finish him off. I think it would probably be Kurt Manahan.
Yeah.
Kirk Manahan. I do. You know what? No offense, but I kind of don't like you. So I'd finish you off. Jim would take one end, I'd take the other. And we'd Eiffel Tower bite your ass to death. All right? We're complete with
Mark
our
it
fight.
down. Jason's finishing him off.
No, we'd have to shoot.
I don't know what
rock,
kind of
paper,
threat you
scissors
just
to-
made.
We're coming for you, Minahan. Hope you like a couple of dudes.
It's the first YouTube that we've done and right out of the gate. Hey, Minahan, I'm going to finish you off. That's basically what you said. But that's cool. That's cool. We're taking a we're going to own it.
Right. Listen, I said it.
We're owning it.
No preface.
We're out there. We're putting it on the line.
Yeah, so there's that. We're biting now.
So that's a fun little news story. Hopefully she's okay.
I love how we have no idea what happened to it.
No, I had no interest to look it up.
Yeah.
I think is even better.
Yeah, I think it was. I just didn't have an interest. It just seems ridiculous.
We're really a headline kind of show.
right. Yeah, we pluck from the headlines. We like to do our Yahoo answers and questions thing. That's fun. The other thing that we had was and I did watch a little of this on Jimmy Kimmel when he had Roseanne and John Goodman on. The Roseanne show came back. Excuse me. I didn't watch it, and I most likely won't. I had an interest in Roseanne when I was younger. I would watch it with my mom, but
It was on a lot in the house. Yeah.
and I love John Goodman, and I actually never mind. Roseanne never bothered me, and I thought the show was pretty good, but whatever. But it came back. So what is it? 20 years
I think
later?
it was 20 years later. Yeah.
And we were thinking about what shows we would like, not rebooted and not revisited, although maybe, but just pick up 20 years later.
Start over. Come back.
Yeah, not
Bring it
start over, but come back. Original
Well, I mean,
cast.
when I say start over, I mean like come on the air again. Is essentially what I'm saying.
Yes,
Correct.
go. You've firmly established that you're going to go first in everything we do here.
See, then we really should think about these topics before we start the show. Gives me no time to think. So the first one I said when we were just throwing this around was Knight Rider. I liked Knight Rider, and then you were like, "Yeah, with the Hoff," and and then I
that's
started thinking, what if Hoff was inside the car? So now Kit
Well, he
is
was on
Hoff.
the original show.
No,
He
I don't
drove
mean
it.
like sit inside the car. I mean
okay.
he is the car.
So who's driving the car?
I don't know. A new Hoff.
I don't like that. You know why? Because here's what they
Okay.
do. It's like that Baywatch shit. What are they going to do? Hasselhoff is now the voice of Kit, and they're going to have who? Fucking Zac Efron. Take the place of Michael Knight.
I don't think that would work.
I want to see grizzled, alcoholic, puffy, old, wrinkly, my hero. Okay, one of my heroes.
I'm not opposed to this.
Michael Knight take control of Kit again. It's got to be the old car. Nothing new.
The old car.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
He dusts off the old Trans Am and takes her,
It needs brakes, a couple new tires.
right, oil change.
Yeah.
Kit needs some new batteries.
Brings it over to like a Jiffy Lube or something, gets it all worked on. I don't know. So that was one that I thought there wasn't. Maybe if things hadn't transpired over the last couple of years as they have, maybe I would have said the Cosby Show. That was always on.
Oh, yikes!
But I think it would be a totally different show now. So I don't think that's gonna work.
Right when I think you're completely unprepared, and you can't bring anything to the table, you go ahead and dig deep and bring something. That would be fantastic. It'd probably be an HBO show for starters, right?
A documentary.
Cautionary tale. Probably a 4-part miniseries on what not to let your daughters do.
Right.
Things to warn them about. Don't take that pill.
But there wasn't a lot of shows that it was basically whatever my parents had on. Really, right? I don't know. Like it wasn't.
I have a lot of shows from. So what am I? 39. I'm 39. When I was 19, I'm trying to think of around that time shows that were on, or I was watching my teenage years.
The irony is something like
X-Files
The Simpsons
was a big one. X-Files was a huge one, and X-Files is on right now, or they just finished.
Right.
They did another season. I watched it, and I hate to say this because I love both actors, but it was kind of like I don't know. It didn't do it for me. X-Files went so far with the movies and with the mythology of the alien stuff that when they came back to have a full season, I'm just like, I think that type of show doesn't work that way. It wasn't a sitcom, right? I mean, what are we doing here? There's the government conspiracy thing. Like once you solve it and you realize what the answer is, it kind of is like, now what? I don't want to see these. I'm getting down a rabbit hole. I don't want to get there.
Right.
The point is, Knight Rider I thought was a fantastic one. I don't even know if everybody from the A-Team is still alive.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Is Hannibal still alive? I don't even know.
Question. I don't know.
But it would be kind of cool. I know they did like a commercial or in the last 10, 12 years, I think. But, throw the Face Man on there. Hannibal. Who was the other one? Murdoch?
Murdoch.
The crazy guy?
Yep. And then
With the same van,
B.A.
which also
Baracus.
needs a brake job and an oil change.
Amazing how long these vehicles have lasted.
So we want to know what your show would be. If you could pick one show.
Call to action.
Call to action. They bring it back 20 years later, 20, 30 years later, whatever it is. The cast is still alive. Or your favorite star is still alive and you want to see them back in the saddle. What is it going to be? Is it a bad move? I generally think it is, but I don't think I care. I love your Cosby Show idea. I think 20 years later, we've got ourselves a winner. And like I said, it's definitely HBO or Showtime.
Cinemax, maybe. I mean, late night.
All right, we got that fluff out of the way. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is Game, not the rapper, right? Mm-hmm. Want to give us a brief definition of what I'm talking about?
Game. G-A-M-E.
What does Game generally recognize?
Does Game recognize Game? So what this stemmed from is that we have a friend who has recently been back into the dating scene. And he's met a number of lovely women that he's had encounters with, but yet he's also known most of them for a little while. Meaning he's known them in the past, right? That's where this whole thing stemmed from. So, gentleman that we hang out with, a friend of ours, friend of the show, has been dating now that he's been back into the dating game, and most of the individuals that he speaks to via text and stuff like that are previous relationships or friends from back in the day, right?
Right.
So when we talk about it, sometimes it's like, oh, wow, man, I can't believe this is, you're doing all this stuff. You're so, this is crazy. You're seeing and talking to all these girls kind of thing. But we started questioning whether or not that constitutes game, right? This is where it stemmed from, correct? This is the origin of what our discussion
Yeah.
kind of wanted
to... It brought up some
questions about game. What is game?
What counts?
Who's Got Game? That was a great movie.
He got game.
He does. Or at least so we think. So what exactly is game, in your opinion?
I can tell you it's almost easier if I go backwards on this and I tell you what it's not.
It's almost easier if I show you. This would be a great thing.
Lay back. Hey, honey.
Come on up here and tell them how I got you. Tell the listeners what kind of game Daddy's got. I don't know. That's
You call me Dad. I don't. It's weird. So I can tell you, I've met a handful of people over the course of the last 20 years where they've gotten credit for certain things. They're racking up numbers, right? They're having sexual relation with women here and there, doing their thing. Single guys, generally, right? You'd hope.
You hope.
But I'm not judging. You know, do your thing. Just do you. But my biggest thing is, I'm not a big fan of if you have to. First of all, let's get a couple things out of the way. This is really actually nothing to do with the example you gave our buddy. You just got us thinking a little bit. But we're going to cover a few things here. If you have to tell a woman anything as a man, if you have to tell them whatever it is you have to tell them to sleep with them or spend the night with them, have sex with them, whatever it is you're into, okay, that's not game to me.
So if you lie.
Right. So
if you lie up front at
100%.
the bar for a one-night stand.
Of always looking for a relationship. You're trying to put on the face of somebody that you think this person wants. That, to me, is not game.
It's artificial. That's not game.
It's just straight up deceitful.
That's right.
You're starting everything off on a bed of lies. But if you have to lie to somebody to get what you want from them, in this case, you know, having some sex, right?
Maybe a little biting. Just
There's some
playful.
nibbles, yeah. You know, maybe it turns into a new wave Cosby show and you're just slipping something into their fucking drink, you know?
Who knows?
The point is, if you have to lie to them to get that to me I'm not impressed by that. As one guy to another, you know, I'm looking up, even if I'm your buddy, I'm not impressed by it. I'm not going to say anything to you until later and to make fun of you after and say like, dude, you're a puss. But I don't think that's like, dude, nice score. No, that's not what that is to me. You just lied to somebody and screwed with them to get what you wanted. They believed you got it. You never talked to them again, and now they're pissed that they did that thing. That's not game.
Now they're running to the doctor. They're getting a shot of penicillin. They don't know what's happened.
You can catch anything from a toilet seat. I mean, that's well documented.
Well documented.
The other thing is retreads. And you touched upon this with our buddy, which got me.
Retreads.
Yeah, we call them retreads.
Okay.
Right? Women can do the same thing with guys, right? If you're in a long-term relationship, that relationship ends. What's one of the first things you do?
You go back to your comfort zone.
You reach out for the mac and cheese and shepherd's pie
binky
of women that you used to hang out with. Oh, sweet Carla, my mac and cheese. I haven't seen her in 5 years, but I know she's in the area. What's up? Oh, not much. Boom. Next thing you know,
Sweet
she's
Carla.
on the couch. You know, your toes are curled, and when you wake up in the morning, she's gone. Okay?
I've seen it 1,000 times.
I've done it 1,000 times. But the point is retreads. You know, men, women, doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to one half, but it's retreads. If you dated them in the past, you call them up. Listen, am I saying that it's not to do it? No. But it's not a game thing to me. You know, it's like, hey, I used to date this person. We're going to rekindle, right? Or I'm on the market suddenly. Hey, what's going on with you? Not much. Let's smash. Okay, that's awesome. Listen, I've done it. It's awesome. But I don't walk around after it with the chest pumped out thinking to myself like, okay. How's Roy? Okay. You know,
What's up, y'all? Toot, toot.
That's not game. You know, in fact, to be quite honest with you, if you know, I did have a session this evening with my therapist. I'm laying it all out
what?
there for you. I would actually feel shame after it.
Shame.
Yeah, I would. I felt
You wouldn't
shame.
feel shame.
I did because I thought to myself, what am I doing? I got this bad breakup. This broad I used to hang out with, she left. Maybe she learned a couple of new skills that I experienced. Maybe some of them are cool. But then now I'm like, oh, It's just the reality comes crashing back.
Sometimes the problem
going
with the
backwards in life.
retread. Yeah, but sometimes that retread, maybe they're in a similar situation, right?
Oh, they're using me now.
Right. So, and who knows? I
Not
mean,
on my
sometimes
watch.
you can get, wrapped up into something you don't want to be wrapped up in.
What?
Meaning the retread all of a sudden becomes a little bit more than just, a comfort zone one-time thing to get me out of my slump or whatever it might be, right? And now you're both retreading. 2 retreads could be disastrous. Think about that.
You've confused me. So one retread is using another retread, and you're retreading each other.
That's right. Think about that.
So it's like a retread off.
Right. It's a double retread.
You never go full retread.
I don't even know what we're saying anymore. I certainly don't have game.
I want to know what other people think. Wait, if you're listening to this, there's a good chance you're in a relationship. How about you think about a time when you weren't? Or if you find yourself, you wake up tomorrow and your wife dumped your ass, or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. If you run back to the arms of a ex.
What's your first move? What's your first play?
Yeah, I think that, I'll be honest, I think the retread is one of the first moves.
Probably.
It's the easier of all the moves, right?
Right.
You send out that text, hey. I was like, hey, how's it going?
Hey,
what's up? How you been?
Sitting here playing.
Oh, what's new with me? Oh, well, yeah, she's not in the picture. Listen, I'm better off for it. I need someone better in my life, whatever. And then like I said, all of a sudden, it's curling toes.
Num, 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 num.
Do we want to make a phone call?
Let's make
Real
a
quick?
phone call.
All right.
I think we have time. Let's make a phone call.
is
So
gonna- It's going to be fun.
we're going to call a friend of the show, Kevin T. We'll see what he's got going on a Friday night. Sometimes we do this. If you become an active listener to the
Right,
show,
we-
we may ask for your number.
We may just call you out of the blue. What we'd like to do is when we call friends of ours to get their input, no warning. I know, I don't know if people actually believe this, but every time we've called any guest via the phone, not in person because they know when they're here, they don't know when the call's coming. And this will be a first time. What time is it? 9:20 at night that we've called this individual. We have no idea. He may have his kids.
He may be in bed.
He may have a retread over. I don't even know.
You don't know. I'm excited. Don't tell our wives.
I'm gonna have to
calling Kevin T.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hey, Kevin.
Oh well. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. We wanted to surprise you. You're currently on with both halves of the Don't Tell Our Wives podcast.
Wait, at 9 o'clock at night on a Friday?
Right.
Right? I know. It's weird, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
We all have such lives.
Yeah. So we were trying to maybe catch you a little off guard.
It worked.
Oh, very interesting. Would you like to paint a picture for us?
What do you got going on this Friday evening?
All right. So let me set the mood here. I'm sitting in front. What? You're not going to tell the kids, right?
What? No children
Okay.
listen to the show.
All right. So
Nobody actually listens to the show.
I will.
So I got all the Easter Bunny stuff set out, ready for Sunday.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I got episode 8 of Supergirl on. I just finished eating Thai food, and my oldest daughter and I are getting ready for her to do her homework while I get packed up for my trip next week.
This is not at all what I thought we might walk into.
No, I think our listeners were hoping for something a little more salacious.
Not even close. Not even close.
All right. Well, this is a
I
good
got my dad
opportunity.
on tonight.
This is a great opportunity for us to highlight the extra mile that you always go for your children.
Oh, thanks.
Little different, bit of a gear shift here.
Yeah, right.
Dry my eyes.
But that doesn't mean that we don't have a question for you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, give it to me.
So one of the things we're talking about, and I don't want you to take this any which way but loose.
Okay.
So we're ending the show on the idea of game. Game.
What?
Game. Like, when a guy says about another guy, or, dude's got game. You go out to the bar with some buddies and, picking up the ladies or whatever. And the same thing with women, right? We're not,
Right.
we're not. This is
I mean,
equal
their
opportunity.
game is okay. It's not great.
I know some people, and a conversation we had earlier in the week got me thinking about it, is I have a very close friend who has a good buddy of his. It was like the best man at his wedding. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, I got to give you a little bit of backstory. So this guy has a very close friend, and he is no stranger to, the fairer sex. But one of the things this guy would do is say anything to accomplish his objective. And his objective routinely was, how do I get it in, if you will?
You're just trying to bag and tag here? What's going on?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Write that down. We'll use that later.
I'm going to capture
Bag
that.
and
capture
tag.
that now. That's fine.
Is it just? I think it's bag apostrophe N
Bag and tag.
tag.
Yeah, it sounds like a cool, like a all-you-can-eat buffet.
Right? It's a hunting term.
Oh, shit.
Getting my limits on.
Hunting term.
Bag and tag.
Doe, a deer.
Okay.
Okay. So, one of the things this guy would do is say anything, including I had a roommate at the time who I eventually dated. Stupid, terrible decision. But one time he came over with my buddy and he was telling her all sorts of stuff about wanting to settle down and I want a relationship because he
You gotta
thought.
be kidding me.
Yeah, so through talking with her, he was like, okay, this is what this girl needs to hear for me to potentially spend the night in her boudoir.
Yeah.
Now, I don't find that to be game. The other thing we did bring up and, was the idea of retreads. Now, I think the retread serves a valuable purpose. I think it's been helping men and women recover from failed relationships for eons, going back to caveman days. But if a guy is a little sort of braggadocious, what is your feeling on if you have to mislead somebody to get what you want? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you go out to a bar and you meet an attractive girl and you're talking and you could tell by the conversation that she wants something, even if it's eventually, that you just can't provide, but you think if you tell her that's your game, like that's your desires align, you'll get, hey, I got a shot at maybe getting a little, stink 'em a hang down. Where does that fall on your radar? Can I say
It's
stink 'em a hang down? Is that a,
We'll
No,
check with the.
I'm
Yeah.
not even really sure what that means.
okay, it's a hunting term.
Right. Clearly. Nice tree stand, bro.
Okay. Yep.
No, I think it's lame.
Okay.
It's lame.
All right.
I mean, if you don't need to be anybody other than who you are, and if you're not excited about who you are, then how can you expect anybody else to be? And then lying about it is like.
I love where he's going with this.
Yeah, just do you, bro.
Be excited about who you are.
Well, because the most powerful force other than gravity that I could think of is the truth, right? And
It's profound.
it's mostly just about how well do you express yourself. I mean, a person doesn't necessarily get to know you by how you say things and what you're saying, but how authentic you come across. So if you're not, and that's the problem with people that are really good at lying, is that a lot of times people that are really good at lying are really good at appearing to be authentic. And it's not.
I can spin a
It's just not
convincing
needed.
yarn.
Yeah, you don't need it.
I love
You don't
that.
need it.
I love the
You're
fact-
better off just using.
Kevin, we surprise you with these phone calls. We throw these questions at you, but yet it seems as if you have an answer every time we ask one. So with that being said, I have one more for you.
Oh, bonus
Okay.
question
Yeah,
from
I like
James.
Bonus question before we let you go for the evening. If you had to bite anyone playfully or angrily, celebrity or whatnot.
He's got to pick one of each.
Yeah,
Like we
okay.
had to.
So one of each. So you need to bite someone
For fun.
playfully for funsies, and then you have to bite someone in aggressive manner and angrily.
Celebrity.
Who would they be?
Well, I can tell you who it's not going to be. It's not going to be Angry Pete because I'll get a backhand.
No, celebrity.
No, celebrity. I mean, Angry Pete is a celebrity
He's
amongst the listeners,
Right.
but
A local celeb. But we're talking on the national scale, world scale,
Oh, I mean,
world star.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kate Beckinsale.
oh my goodness.
Are you kidding me right now? Oh
I
my
know,
God. Are
it's
you
the
serious?
vampire
You two
thing,
are
it's
more
the
like
British
every day.
accent.
Wow.
there's so much to her. Like she's mysterious. Talk about
Listen,
truth,
you
right?
you are selling.
Jason said the same thing.
She doesn't need to lie to me, is what I'm saying. Is that you just be honest.
I would.
And,
I would hope I would do. She could lie to me. I wouldn't even care. Listen,
Right.
I said the same thing.
Did you really?
No one's gonna believe that we don't have these calls
Yeah.
like pre.
We're the same guy?
Yeah, this.
No,
is,
you really. It's becoming more and more clear to me that the two of you are the same individual. All right, but now I know for a fact that the person that you would bite out of anger would not be the same. So who would you bite? To inflict pain.
like almost like a self-defense thing, or you just like, I don't like you.
Anger's not my gig. I don't.
That's
I don't
true.
know if I,
That's true. This is a tough question for him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this. Yeah, I don't got an angry guy.
He's gonna abstain from biting out of hate, right? Kevin, see, it's
Right.
not Kevin.
I'll allow it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to do? It's not in me.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Well, if you could pick any celebrity to be in you, who would it be? Okay, that's episode
That's
45.
different episode.
We'll get there later.
Kevin, do you mind if we use your likeness to put up in the corner? We're actually we're recording this episode, but we're also doing video for this episode.
No, really?
Yeah. Well, we'll do an illustration of your likeness.
Yeah, I'll draw a picture of you.
Put it up here, like right in the corner, so people know, like, it'll say, like, on the horn.
Kevin T.
Kevin T.
The disease-free gentleman.
Maybe.
Who lives,
maybe.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's one
The allegedly
outstanding test.
disease-free gentleman
yeah,
that spent time on a range.
As far as you know, and I'm being honest here.
That currently has running hot water. Thank you. All right. Thank you. As always, this is a pleasure. We really appreciate it.
The pleasure was all over here.
Hey, we love you, Kevin. Happy Easter.
Love you too, guys.
Oh, yes. Happy Easter. Happy Easter.
Hey, thanks for calling me.
All right. No problem. All right. Good night.
All right.
Love you.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye.
It's freaking me out how closely aligned you two are. I'm starting not to like it much. It's eerie. It's very eerie. If Angry Pete listens to this, he's gonna be a little bit weirded out. I think as well.
Listen, it's not like it was a total shot in the dark.
No, I mean
we're the same age,
and she's an incredible,
beautiful woman.
Right? Exactly.
But I do feel like
it's a little bit strange. I mean, there's lots of other cues that we've been picking up along the way. That
certain dietary needs, or desires. What? Just things we like to eat.
I don't know. I think this has gone well. I mean, I've only received one text the entire night from my wife asking whether or not I'm drinking. So I think overall this has been a very successful show.
For our potentially new, people coming in the fold on YouTube and hopefully subscribing to the podcast as well.
Are we going to do that thing where we go, click below? Yeah. Click above.
Well, I did that with the Kevin thing, right? I want to put Kevin's face right here.
How about click over here?
We'll put Kevin's face right here or over here. Well, I do have some sort of bad news for you, but I think I might be able to piece it together. Is at some point my camera decided to stop recording, so we do have some technical hiccups. I'm going to have to iron out with this setup, but
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're done.
Yeah. Let's wrap it.
Click. What are you doing?
Click down here.
Click this. Like this.